Welcome to today's video from an incredibly hot and humid and steamy Eastern Ontario in Canada. I think it's about, with the humidity, it's past 40 degrees Celsius right now, so it's incredibly sticky. So if I appear to be a little bit glistening, just please forgive me. So as I like to do at the end of a work day, I like to unwind, enjoy a single malt, just a dram of single malt and a cigar. And today's choice is Camacho, Connecticut. It's one of my go-to cigars. Very mild, incredibly creamy, tasty, not overly heavy. So if I don't feel like having a long 2-hour smoke, an intense cigar, this will be something that I'll lean towards. And I'm enjoying it with a 10-year-old Aran single malt. It's bottled at 46%, so I do like to add just a splash of water in this. It is non-chill filtered and there's no coloring. And adding the little splash of water, it kind of binds with a lot of the proteins and the fats, I believe they are, that you get from the cask. So you're actually tasting a lot of the cask in this. A lot of the flavor has not been filtered out. And at 46%, it is stronger, but it does tend to hold a deeper complexity of flavors. So beautiful Scotch whiskey. So it's a 10-year-old Aran. So I wanted to do something a little bit different today, and I haven't done one of these since I was in university. It's a book review, and as you can see here, it's Henry Poole, the first Tailor of Savile Row. Now I'm certain a lot of you have heard of Savile Row. It's the street, it's the epicenter, it's the center of the universe of sartorial elegance in England, and it's the main street where you find a lot of the famous tailoring houses. So you have Henry Poole, you have Huntsman, and not far you have Lacter, Haste, and Kent. I think that's the order. But these companies, these shops, these workshops are just creating the most incredibly beautiful bespoke garments. And it is a dream of mine to one day be able to go there. I have three. There are three tailors that I'm most interested in working with, and so when the time's right, we're not talking a $500 suit here. So when the time's right, I will be, hopefully one day investing in one of those. I heard of Savile Row growing up. If you're from London, if you're from England, especially if you're from London, everybody's heard of Savile Row. Everybody knows it as the street where you go to get clothes made. But over the past couple of years, delving into Savile Row and the history of bespoke tailoring, it's a lot deeper than just a street where they make fancy clothes. There's an incredible sense of history, of tradition, of culture, workmanship, craftsmanship. What these the cutters and the tailors are able to create from a bolt of fabric is truly spectacular. So there are a number of tailor shops on Savile Row, and I think there is an association which does try to limit what businesses can open up, just to maintain some of the integrity of what Savile Row is historically, what it became, and what it's become today. And the first one, considered the first tailoring shop on Savile Row, is Henry Poole. Opened in I'll get the exact date, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's in its 7th generation or 8th generation, I believe, of family ownership under the under the chairmanship of Simon Cundy, who I believe descended from the initial accountant of Henry Poole. And he's maintaining and carrying on the name and the tradition. It has moved locations a couple of times over the course of its history. But the book I want to review is Henry Poole, the First Tailor of Savile Row, by James Sherwood. James Sherwood also wrote Bespoke, and I'll be doing a review of that shortly as well. So for over 2 centuries, Henry Poole has been crafting garments for statesmen, kings, famous celebrities, politicians. Some of the names: Winston Churchill, King Edward VII, Charles de Gaulle, General Ulysses Grant. And it's had a number of royal warrants. So it's been awarded royal warrants by Queen Elizabeth II. I'm just reading off some names I prepared here. The Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, the Shah of Persia, and Napoleon II. And the list is lengthy. But James Sherwood was granted access to the archives and the records of Henry Poole going back this 2 centuries. And he's prepared a history of the tailoring shop. He opens up with a brief history of how it started and the origins of Henry Poole. But then he presents the history over time through the work that was performed for specific individuals. So again, like Winston Churchill, King Edward VII. And he breaks it down in different sections, so politicians, kings, and he tells the story of Henry Poole through the work that was performed for these individuals. He discusses, what their preferred item of clothing was, how much they ordered. It's a wonderful look into the company's relationship with its famous clientele. Looking at a lot of YouTube videos, and it truly seems that the quality of service and the level of service that they showed or bestowed to their VIP clientele is exactly the same as they provide to anybody walking through the door. It's an experience. Getting a suit made from looking at other people's journeys with Henry Poole, getting a suit made there is stepping into it's truly an experience. And over 256 pages here. It's it's easily readable in a couple of 2, 3, 4 sessions, depending on how much time you have. My cigar has gone out, and there's some wonderful color photographs and portraits, to bring some of the stories to life. One of the interesting ones was the King Edward VII asked Henry Poole to create an evening jacket based upon his day jacket, but cut with evening jacket fabric, which they did. So basically, it was the jacket he'd wear for dinner, but to be a little bit more comfortable. And then eventually it was made for some others and taken back to New York and worn for the first time in New York City at a club called the Tuxedo Club, hence the origins of the tuxedo. But something that originated from King Edward VII, crafted by Henry Poole, it's now the origins of what we call the tuxedo today. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. I think I paid about $70 Canadian for this, 50 US or so. It is a bit of an investment, but it's something that you'll keep on your bookshelf and you'll refer to time and time again. It's just a wonderful, wonderful story of one of the most iconic brands of British tailoring. So I definitely 100% recommend Henry Poole, the first tailor of Savile Row. It's a wonderful story, and the collection of stories within it just will keep you engrossed and entertained for hours. So yeah, so I'm going to get started on my next book. I'm reading a couple right now. The next one that I will be presenting will be the Bespoke, again by James Sherwood. And I hope to bring you that story soon. So in the meantime, I'm going to try and survive this heat. In addition to the whiskey, I do have a glass of ice water. But in the meantime, cheers, sláinte, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Cheers.